If you're looking to generate highly qualified leads for your cleaning business without spending a dime on marketing, this video is for you. We are going to cover one of the top organic marketing strategies to land high-paying residential and commercial cleaning jobs with this secret, untapped prospecting method. Now, some of you might be familiar with prospecting, also known as cold outreach. And these are doing things like cold calling, cold emailing, even door knocking. But let's address the elephant in the room. These methods kind of suck. Sending 1,000 emails or cold calling 100 businesses during an afternoon just to get a couple maybes or somewhat positive replies is very daunting. And the reason why this method is so difficult is because when you're cold calling or cold emailing a business, there's no trust built between you and their prospect. They don't want to give you the time of day, and that's why your probability of actually converting them to a walkthrough or a quote is so low. But by doing a little bit of work up front, which we're going to talk about in this video, we've seen the strategy work with many different businesses, and now you're about to get the secret sauce. So first off, with all the different prospecting channels, what's the one that I recommend? Instagram. Now, why are we going to be talking about Instagram? I believe that this platform is the best for any type of business, and here's why. One, you have the ability to direct message accounts. Not all platforms give you this capability. Two is for relevance. At the time of this video, Instagram is still very much so a relevant social media platform. If you take a look at something like TikTok, not everybody has migrated over there yet. People can make arguments that it's still largely a younger generation's platform. And even if you look at something like Facebook or LinkedIn, where people might not be as active as they used to be, in my opinion, they're just not as relevant as Instagram. Number three is going to be the visual appeal of it. Instagram allows you to showcase your brand in a very digestible way that a lot of the other platforms don't. And lastly, it's going to be easy to target your ideal prospects. So yes, we can actually use Instagram to prospect for our ideal avatars. So we've just established that Instagram is the superior platform, but we're not going to start sending out DMs quite yet, because first we need to optimize our profile. Remember what I said about cold outreach being a daunting process because there's not that sense of trust built? By doing a little bit of work up front to optimize our profile, we can add professionalism, build a little bit of comfort and trust, all within a quick glimpse of our profile. So let's go over some basics. First of all, you want to make sure that your account is a business account. This is going to allow you more capabilities and customizations, which we'll go over later. Next, make sure that your Instagram handle and your actual account name are congruent, which should be your business name. Make sure that your logo is properly cropped so it's not cut off or anything weird. And then the next step is your bio. Your bio should clearly explain what your business is about in 3 to 5 seconds max. If someone glances at your bio and they don't know by that time, they're probably gonna keep scrolling. So first thing in your bio should be your location. I would recommend that you put in whatever city that you're based in or county. The next line of your bio could be who you service. You could either have something basic like warehouse and office cleaning specialist, or if you wanna get a little bit playful, you can make it an elevator pitch saying, we help homeowners in the Bay Area fall in love with their home again. Next in your bio should be a call to action. It should be very clear what you want your prospects to do. Something that I recommend for you guys is having a line that says, DM us clean for me to schedule a free quote. And then last on your bio, you want to make sure that you link your website or landing page or booking form so that you can send your traffic somewhere. The next step of optimizing your profile is going to be the highlights. So if you guys are unfamiliar, highlights are an archive of all of the stories that you've posted up until this point, which means that if you're not currently getting stories, now is the time to start. Stories are one of the best ways to build comfort and trust with your prospects, and you can do so in a very strategic way by having different categories for your highlights. So the first section of highlights that I would recommend are going to be before and afters. Very basic, very common in the cleaning industry, but those transformations that people can see, whether that's before and after photos or videos of a job before it's completed till after it's completed, really express the power behind your service. Next one is going to be testimonials. So this can either be screenshots of, let's say, happy texts that you guys get from your clients, or they could be screenshots of Google reviews, or even video testimonials from your clients if they're willing to do so. These work excellent at saving to your highlights. The next section is going to be frequently asked questions. What I would suggest is, let's say once a week, you guys post something on your story with a poll, just letting people ask any open-ended questions that they want to understand your cleaning business a little bit better. And then after you get your audience to ask some of these questions, repost them onto your story and save them to your highlights. Chances are, if someone's asked them, then your prospects are also wondering them. Next category of highlights can be DIY or helpful tips. One of our clients does this pretty regularly, talking to the camera, also just illustrating through video content of what people should know if they want to clean their own bathroom or their own office or restaurant or what have you. Great way to build authority. Next section is going to be pets. So if you're in a residential cleaning, this is obvious. A lot of your clients, as you've probably known by now, are in love with their pets, and they want to know that you are also very pet friendly. So having a section dedicated to them is helpful. It doesn't hurt for a commercial either. It's just you might not have as many opportunities to get these photos, and that's totally fine. And then the last category of highlights that I'd suggest is going to be sort of a behind the scenes style. So this is where you could pretty much just demonstrate anything that goes on behind the day-to-day operations of your company. And this is a really good way to humanize your brand and show transparency. So if you're wondering some ideas, these could be home or office tours. These could be buying supplies. These could be after work events, going to lunch together with your team, whatever it is. Post on your stories and then save to your highlights. So now that we've covered highlights, now we can get into the meaty part of this, and that is going to be the actual posts. So when someone lands on your profile, what are they going to see on the feed? And this goes without saying, guys, that you need to be posting. Don't be the person that has 0 posts and then starts DMing companies expecting to get a reply, because the odds are not in your favor. Now, if you're wondering what to post exactly, there are some do's and don'ts. The do's are going to be pretty much what we already covered with the highlights, actually. So before and after photos, team pics, engaging reels that could either show transformations, such as the before and afters, or maybe just the POV cleaning videos. Those all work great. You wanna have content that clearly shows your cleaners. So if you could have photos or videos of them where a prospect can clearly see their face, their uniform, that is a big plus. Video testimonials from your clients, any awards or accolades that you've received, all of these are excellent posts for your company. What you don't wanna have is 0 posts, which we already covered, stock images, branded corporate style photos that just clearly look like you hired someone to illustrate them for you on Canva. You don't want any unprofessionalism on your profile. I've seen countless times where there's cleaning businesses that you would never know they're a cleaning business based on their profile, because they'll just have random selfies, photos of them drinking beer, lots of edgy memes or politics. Just try and stay away from that, keep it professional. And then also lacking content of their actual cleaners, so there's no trust or transparency built. And I would say once you guys have at least 9 of these quality posts, you'll be ready to move on to the fun part, which is starting to send DMs. So 9 is a bare minimum. Ideally, if you can get to 50 to 100 high quality posts or more, that is perfect. So now it's time to start sourcing our leads. So if you're wondering who's a good source to do outreach to, it's really gonna depend on your type of business. For example, if you're more residential focused, you might wanna go after realtors who could refer you to a lot of homes that need move in, move out cleans, or even some property managers, perhaps Airbnb hosts, if you guys do vacation rental cleaning and stuff like that. If you're in the commercial space, this could be whatever type of facility or office is ideal to you. So this could be restaurants, these could be medical offices, pet shops, whatever your niche or niches are, pretty self-explanatory. And then there's also another category, which a lot of people don't talk about, but these are going to be trade allies. So you want to think of complementary services to commercial or house cleaning that don't directly interfere with your service. So these could be things like carpet cleaning, window cleaning, pressure washing, etc. These can be amazing referral sources. So Instagram is actually a really good tool to source for these prospects. And something that you can do very simply is go into your search bar. Let's say you live in Atlanta. You can type in Atlanta Realtors, and then under accounts, you click on accounts, and anybody who has Atlanta Realtor, listed as their account name or even within their bio has a good likelihood of coming up in your potential searches. However, you can certainly use other platforms to source your leads. And I actually do recommend that you use a combination of different platforms to source your leads. So Instagram is one, but you can also use a simple Google search. You could use Yelp. You could even hire someone on Fiverr or Upwork to get a list from, to get a database of all of the prospects that you want to reach out to. And what I would recommend is having a spreadsheet with the following columns. You're gonna have the business name, you're gonna have the contact name, the contact's email, the contact's phone number, their Instagram handle, and also a column for what's called an icebreaker. We'll explain more about what an icebreaker is later. So now we've optimized our profile, we've gotten some posts, we've sourced our leads. Now is where we move into the fun part. This is where we're going to be connecting and DMing our prospects. So before you guys DM them on Instagram, I would actually suggest that you follow their page, especially if they're actively posting great content. And there's actually a few reasons why we want to do this. One, if you don't, you have a higher likelihood of going to their requests folder, which means that the owner or the manager of that Instagram account is not very likely to see your DM. Two, nobody likes to get pitched straight off the bat. If you can follow them, it just looks more genuine, like you actually care, and this is going to increase your potential relationship with that prospect. And number three, and this one is most important, is if you follow them, there's a higher likelihood that they're gonna follow you back, especially if you've taken into account what I've recommended previously by having great highlights, having great posts, etc. And this is huge because our goal is not necessarily to close these guys on day one, but if we can bring them into our social media funnel, meaning indoctrinate them through the stories that we're gonna be posting for the next 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is, they get to see our posts, our highlights. That is going to pre-sell them and just build your relationship with them over time. So getting that follow back is actually going to be very important. And then what I'd recommend is waiting at least 2 weeks after you follow them, and that's where you can move into the first DM. So you have two approaches for how you want to address this first message. You could do a more passive, kind of friendly approach where you kind of just DM them saying, "Hey John, saw you're also in blank city, how's business treating you?" And then they respond, and you could say, "Oh, awesome, how long have you been doing this," right? And then they respond to that, and then you could follow up with something else like, "Awesome, so are you mainly working with clients and such and such?" And a lot of these business owners will actually be appreciative of just having a friendly conversation with another local business owner. But you can also do approach B, which is just more direct. So that first message is just going to be straight to the point. You can introduce yourself, say, "Hey, John, my name is such and such with ABC Cleaning Company. I saw that you," and then this is where you guys insert that icebreaker. What we talked about previously is while you guys are making a spreadsheet, having a column for an icebreaker is going to be very important for this part. And what an icebreaker is essentially just a quick 1 to 2 sentences of some interesting info that you found out about that company. And the point of this is to make it look like we actually did our homework, which you did, right? So this is where you insert that icebreaker into the first line. An example of this might be, "I saw that you opened your business 3 years ago with your brother Tommy after working in finance. It's great to see that you guys followed your passion," right? Something like that. This approach, you're basically putting everything straight to the point and then finishing off with something like, "Are you open to chatting more to see if our service can benefit you?" Something like that. And if you guys are unsure which approach is best for you, I would recommend doing both. So maybe do 50 messages more passive, kind of open-ended, and another 50 that are more direct, and see which gets you the better response rate, and then follow through with that one. So guys, that is pretty much the strategy. And at the end of the day, this is still going to be a numbers game. Meaning if you're only sending a couple messages per week, don't expect to have a new contract next week. I would recommend that you guys do at least 20 of these outreaches per day, ideally spaced up, meaning morning, afternoon, and night, to avoid yourselves getting blocked by sending too many at once. But if you guys stay consistent, I promise you this will get you responses. We've seen it work for other companies. And when you put in the work to get great content for your posts, for your stories, for your highlights, you have your bio optimized where it's very clear what you do. I promise you guys, this already sets you ahead of 98% of the other local businesses, and that alone build a little bit more trust between you and your prospects, and thus give you a better odds at doing this. So that is it for this video. If you guys found this helpful, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you guys for the next one.